August 21st. And everyone is present, except for Vera, who is excused.
I think you guys said at the last meeting that you were gonna replace them, weren't you? Aren't you talking about replacing them?
We are, but we haven't.
You haven't yet. Exactly.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, any update with Vera?
I have no update.
Okay, thank you. And first on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Any changes, any comments?
Can I make one comment? Barbara's name is misspelled multiple times.
Isn't it B-A-R-B-A-R-A?
Yes, minutes, that was wrong in a few places, and then her last name is not School, it's Shoal.
Okay, I'll fix that right now.
I don't care.
I
I just, the spell check probably likes to turn it into School.
do.
I know on mine, when I type it on Word, I had to teach it that was your last name because it kept changing it. And also the comparison cost, information on the comparison cost, comparison is spelled wrong. Unless no, it's comparison, not COMPARISON. Oh, sorry,
Anything else?
that's all I have.
Okay, I have a minor one. Karen, during our last meeting, John recommended that on partnerships that we revisit the Pearson School, the Athens Theater in Deland, and the Jenkins Community Center. And I agreed to take that assignment.
Okay, so you want me to put in John Nebo under his? Where would you like me to put that, underneath his report,
Under other, which one?
or is it under other?
Under other,
Okay.
please. And next is new business, and Barbara's report.
You're gonna, do
Yeah,
the
I move that we accept the
minutes.
minutes with
Oh,
changes.
yes, thank you. Second.
I'll second that, it needs a second.
John,
All
Ronnie
approve?
did.
One already seconded.
All approve, aye?
Aye.
Minutes passed, thank you. Now new business, Barbara.
Well, Barbara's tired of giving the same report. I think in the minutes it said that hopefully I would have a report to give in 2 weeks. And my 2 weeks aren't up and I don't have a report.
Thank you for the final report.
She's trying to get John home soon.
Yeah, John needs to go see his grapes.
And BJ,
Yes. As far as the fish goes, the Florida Inventory of Schoolhouses, I downloaded the information, looked at it. Really, it talks about the age of the buildings, and the square footage and the stations that they have, basically on a district level. And so I wasn't really sure what information we could glean from that. It really just talked about the age of the buildings and that kind of stuff, because that's what they report to the state. And so, and we know the buildings are old, but it doesn't really break it down by school. It's just a district-wide thing. So there wasn't really anything that I thought was helpful from that, yeah. Because really, the one thing is, like, the layout of the buildings and the school, the classrooms and stuff, which I think the only place I've seen that is on the appraisal. It has a plan, and I think maybe I need to try and contact them and see if I can get anything else, but I'm just gonna go using that off of the appraisal, because I think I can get kind of a better plan from that, so. That's it.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And next, John, we have your report on the school district. Any update?
All right, I did talk with Superintendent Surensky, We talked about the, information regarding the school. I asked him if they had any, surveys or if they had any title work on the schools, and he said he would gather that information. I also told him I understood that the boiler, not the cooler, had been taken from the middle school. And I asked him to not take any more equipment from the school if that was at all possible. And I suggested we have a meeting after the election. He agreed and said that we should he would have the maintenance people there and we would sort out all of this about the cooler and I told him that, I would like to bring DJ Laurie with him to the meeting, and he said that would be more than fine, he would be more than welcome. He said, I suggest you come with a list of issues other than the boiler and situation, and I told him we would do that. And we'll set a meeting soon. And I want to just say this about a meeting with, I'm privileged to be able to reach Certainty at any moment. And he always answers. But I do not abuse that privilege, because if you do it too much, I wouldn't have that privilege. So I use it very sparingly. But I'd like to say this. Thank God and all the voters of Putnam County that they returned Certainty to his position. I won't say any more about that, but it's just a great, in other words, our effort on this school would have been hampered had he not been elected. I'd also like to say, we're gonna miss you, Mr. Ruth, and I'm disappointed, but I understand, anyway. We've enjoyed your leadership.
Thank you. And we do appreciate you giving us, 2 months notice. That's very generous.
Yes.
Well, should we have a discussion of what that list of questions might be?
Yes, I think we need that. Of course, the highest on our list is gonna be the partnership relationship that we're looking for. That's gonna be number one.
Yes. It certainly is.
And I think we should have some title work done before we have that meeting. If they don't come up with some decent title work. So I think that's one thing we should do on our part.
That might be expensive.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, it might be expensive.
Yeah, and they're at this point, quote, seller, and the seller furnishes title. They have to have a clear title, or they don't have a buyer.
Well, I think the work that DJ has done will cast some shadows on that. How clear a title they have.
And like you had mentioned, me putting that information in more of a narrative, writing it all out, and I'm working on that. I'm sorry, I was in Hollywood all last week for our Florida Cities Conference. But on that note, I did actually meet at one of the networking things, the former city attorney for the city of Pearson, and we had a nice little chat about their ordeal with Lucia County getting that school there. And it was, and I have his contact information, I'm gonna talk to him some more about it. But they had kind of as he explained it was a very similar situation to ours. In fact, that the school, that school property in the middle of Pearson originally had an older school there that was given to the school district. And so the land and everything was donated to the school district, and then they were trying to make the case that it's time to give it back, but they still ended up, I think, paying $100,000 or $200,000 or something for it, because that was the school district would not budge on it. But there were some other things that Dave mentioned that I'll have to touch base with him on. But it was just fortuitous that I ran into this person.
What is that school building being used?
They are, right now, they moved City Hall over into it. And they're gonna work on the rest, the rest of the building, they're gonna equip for like nonprofits and something, kind of like what we're thinking of doing, and giving space to people.
Similar to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Most certainly. But they did take the fence down on the south side of the property there where like the ramp used to be, the pickup ramp. And that's where City Hall moved over, because they moved from the bank building into the school. And it's been, I think he said it was like 10 or 12 years ago that they bought that property, and they had been waiting, because they just didn't have the money to renovate it, and they were waiting on it. So, but I mean, it's a great project to look at though, as far as an example, because it's very similar to ours.
Could you ask who the right person for me to visit with would be?
Okay.
You could visit as a group, we advertise it.
Yeah.
Go do, like, take a tour or something.
But I will contact them and see if, or see who to talk to. Maybe we can arrange that.
Please do. So I suggest that I make the initial contact after yours, of course. I think, Charles, your suggestion of meeting as a group is wise on all three sites.
You could just do field trips. I wish we had a bus or something, but we don't.
That's right.
We need a wheelchair lift on it too, so. And as far as the title work research, I have not been able to get those the north piece of property, the north half of the middle property, I have not found any title work on. I can't, as far as I know, I mean, my abilities, it's beyond my abilities, I guess. But I do have the rest of that information that we discussed last time that I will write up and put in a narrative, and we can bring that to the school district and their certainty and see if that helps.
So we'll continue to explore the title and discuss it at our next meeting. And then keep in mind that we may, as John suggests, need to take more responsibility on title work if necessary.
Very good, necessary.
Yes, yeah.
And I have spoken with Gullet, and I'm remiss at not getting back with them, so I don't know what, they haven't contacted me, but I will do that today.
And
To
if
see
it's,
if they found anything.
yeah, if they have, if you want to pass it on to me too, I can include it in my map there. That would be helpful, because like I said, I'm just an amateur. I just do it for fun, really. But they're professionals. I would hope that they could hopefully find more than I can.
All right, are you gonna talk to Gullet about?
I have already spoken to Gullet and asked them to do some research for me,
Okay,
but then I did not follow up on it, and they have not contacted me, so today I will see what they
okay, all
found.
right, I got it, thank you.
So in regard to partnership, any plans that we could obtain of the buildings would be extremely helpful. So that we know what our product might be in forming a partnership.
Explain that better.
Well, the theater, for instance, they're gonna ask how many seats, what the dimensions are, square footage of the stage, et cetera. So if we had a building plan of it, of course, it would be helpful with detail. And that's true with the, of course, the cafeteria, the gymnasium, and the other structures. I believe that in some earlier conversations, we discussed possibly the college in Palacios might be of interest in doing classes here
I don't, yeah.
It's May.
I was,
St. John, so,
Yeah.
I'll put that on my list.
well, and
As well.
I just want to reach out to, Chip Higgins, the president. I mean, he's a friend of mine, there's a
Can't
family friend,
call you back.
but, I had not done that, I'm sorry. I was, like I said, I was out of town this week.
Well, please do,
Yes.
Jay, and share your information and who the proper contact person, should be in this initial stage. Thank you. Yes, Barbara.
And building plans, would the county not have the building plans?
They wouldn't have like detailed plans, because especially since it's so old. Like the property appraiser has like dimensions of the buildings, because that's all they use. I mean, we can check, I don't think they would.
They might have like the cafeteria that.
Yeah, but that was,
Yeah, the cafeteria is new.
For the-
They would have anything that's been done in the last 35 or 40 years. And maintenance department maintains all that information.
Yeah, so there's gotta be somewhere, there should be a whole
So there's,
bunch of tubes with stuff in it, you know, a bunch of plans rolled up somewhere. But I don't think the
so
county,
Ronnie, will you check maintenance and see?
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'll check the building department, we'll have them.
And John, maybe prior to this meeting, ask the school board if they have any plans. Building plans, dimensions.
Okay, all right, I'll ask them. All right, I'll do that.
as, you know, if we move forward, as we move forward, any sort of renovation or historical restoration, you know, it'd be great to have the most detailed plans we can, at least that would keep us from having to reformulate them, or, you know, have them redone, although that would still be a thing. There was, one thing that can I bring something up or discuss, to bring something up for discussion? Our architect that does, it was REG, you know, gave us that proposal to do a feasibility study. And that's for the whole property, right, for the whole school?
Yes, for all the buildings.
And it was, what, 130,
20,000.
120,000. One of those things, you know, that we're discussing was ARPA and ARPA funds. Do you think that do we have that available possibly, that we could funnel it that way? I know we discussed, I'm sorry, I know this is just him and I talking, I mean, but
You're sharing, that's fine.
yeah, I really think that, you know, if we can convince the city commission to pay for this feasibility study, it would give us a lot of, it gives us a lot of information and really give us the real cost of using these buildings, or, you know, and renovating them and bringing them up to something that, you know, what we want to do with them. Because we really have no idea the structural issue, you know, like when they did the New Inn Lodge, you know, over the building over here. And they basically went around and they took pictures of every, you know, column that was about to come through the floor, and every step and every, you know, thing. I mean, it was a little scary actually to look at. But, you know, and all the, you know, they looked at all that stuff and tell you what it's gonna cost, or basically, or if it's savable or whatever. And to me, that would just answer a lot of questions, as far as
What we're getting ourselves into.
what we're getting ourselves into. And, I know, you know, Charles has wanted it, would like it, I know. And I think it would give us a better idea for the city commission wise, you know, really what we are getting ourselves into. I mean, when we go and tour the property, I see, you know, that front building, that's classrooms, that's pretty much ready to be used and that kind of thing. I don't know what the architects might say about that, and that's their job.
But I think you bring up a very valid point. But remember, if we find partners, often in a lease situation, the person that may be interested, often they come in and do ready the space for their needs. So the burden isn't necessarily would be on us. And of course, that would be the best possible situation. And I think your point is well taken, that they could, their report, I think we should consider in the future, And we should look at what the objectives are that they can provide. For instance, they may have insight into grants, and also marketing, and partnerships. So there's many ways that this excellent firm could help us.
Present the,
I'm hoping it'll be September, the final, they're waiting on the lead report.
Oh.
We realized we didn't get the lead report
Right.
back.
and, the other idea that I was thinking about, or something I just thought about earlier when we were talking about surveying, how much is that guy charging us to do like the survey of Market Square?
It's about $2,000, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, at some point, they're gonna need to do a survey. I mean, that property has not been surveyed in decades. And, that's just something else that if we can possibly help out by getting it done for the school district or working, I don't know, I was trying to think of, you know, trying to move things forward and get.
For instance, for the New Moon Lodge, they did a feasibility study for us. So we had to also get a full survey and a lead and asbestos reports. We paid for those additionally, but it'll be a very comprehensive report. So the school, they'd probably order a full design survey, topographical survey, and then we'll do lead asbestos testing. And the beauty of it, I thought, was whenever I asked other city managers, have you ever bought a building? And the first thing they said, did you do a feasibility study? Tell you what you're getting into. So that's why I reached out and got the quote, but it would be very comprehensive. And then even with New Moon Lodge, they're even showing us conceptual of ADA bathroom and elevator structure next to the building to come into compliance. So I think that's what would be the result. You'd have a very comprehensive report of the whole campus, all of the state of all the buildings and what we're looking at to bring them up to code. And we could ask the commission to use the ARPA funds for that. I sent you, if you saw my list, the state reminded us that we have to actually have a contract to have those funds obligated, not just budgeted. So,
Yeah, so that was what spurred that thought. I was like, oh, well, we kind of need to get that stuff. As bad as it sounds, we need to spend that money.
yeah, we need to get it under contract, and I think that would
Before the
be
end of the
excellent.
year. I mean,
Did you use, for the New Moon, did you use the same company?
Yes, REG is doing that. They gave us both proposals. Now with that one, we didn't have enough funds to go to full construction documents. That's one of the things I asked the commission to go ahead and pay for that. We needed another $60,000 to get construction documents, so we could actually start looking for grants to do the work. But in this case, you'd have a very comprehensive report that you would use for grant applications and the purchase and negotiating price. You'd have all that data, you know exactly what you're getting into, and the costs going forward. So you could use it as a tool.
because I mean, you know, we're amateurs. We're not really professionals. Not
You must be
architects.
kidding.
You're a professional. I mean, you guys
No,
are.
no.
But
We are in some aspects,
Yes,
but not
we
totally.
all have our, you know, our areas of expertise, but, you know, to have an actual feasibility, I mean, they will go and look at every corner of that building. They even, I think they scan it too.
They scan the building, yeah.
And that's included in your quote,
That would be-
your detail listing.
Yeah.
It's all included.
And I mean, I really think that,
And where would this money come from?
Well, we're saying in the American Rescue Act, we still have some funds we haven't spent.
Oh, yes.
In COVID.
and they have to
And
be
then,
under contract by December of this year. So we're getting,
Oh.
we
We're running out of
earmarked them, but we haven't contractually obligated them. And we have to do that by December.
which we just found out.
And if we got funds, would we get, if they're available, if we got them, would they pay for the whole thing?
Or
Or do we have to have matching funds?
Oh, no,
No, for this, we would
just pay.
pay the $120,000 for the full report.
And that would give, I mean, and that's the entire property, and it would give us, you know, structural weaknesses or, estimates for cost of renovation and that kind of stuff. Cause I mean, there's things like, you know, is the foundation of the auditorium sound, you know, is that you look at the front of it and where the columns are, some of them are looking a little, you know,
well, roof systems, electrical,
Yeah, they
plumbing,
do all that, yeah.
structural, all that. And so moving forward, we should look at that proposal and see how we may want to expand it.
It's a good first step.
BJ, anything else on your final report?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
I still have a question on this. So if we said, hey, this looks fantastic and we know it would be beneficial and we want it, what do we do next to the city to,
We need to have the city commission vote to approve it.
I'm gonna make an agenda item to discuss our ARPA funds.
okay?
And I'm gonna find out, we have some money for fire hydrant replacement, I gotta see how much is left, that's finished. And then we had economic development, we have about $120,000, as it happens, which we haven't committed, just earmarked it. So we'll have a discussion at the commission meeting on the 12th of encumbering those funds in different ways. One is, we got $1 million to build the ambulance bay, but we'd like to save all that for construction rather than design documents. The reason we got our water projects funded is we had the designs done, so we could draw another water project. Many things we need to consider. And New Moon Lodge, I'd love to order the construction documents drafted rather than waiting for a grant. That's gonna be another year wait. We applied for a grant, but I'd rather not wait. So they'll have that discussion and we'll make the pitch for the feasibility study and see what we can get.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sounds very good. Okay, moving on to other business. So my update with partners are that I have reached out to the Athens Theater, to their executive director. I'm waiting to hear back. And also, I've reached out to the Jenkins Community Center in Blacka. I've reached out to I've been directed to the Community Affairs Director, whose office is in the Community Center, and waiting for a call back from that person as well. And as soon as I do, I'll arrange a meeting to sit with them in person and then report back and bring up the topic about all of us visiting the sites. Any other business?
I was just talking to the mayor last night at Blacka, and she was there at the Zay City Brewery at the beginning, so people could ask her, but I don't know. She left, I think, before you got there, Dan.
I thought I saw her.
I was, okay, she was there for a little while, we were talking about,
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
comparing and woes about city managers, so
Oh, sure. Yeah.
it seems to be an issue right now in Putnam County. And if Walacca passes their charter revision in November, they'll be needing a town manager at that point, because they're changing their form of government. So they're gonna change to a council manager form of government, so they're gonna need, so Walacca will be having a town manager as well. And we need one, and Walacca kind of needs one.
Indeed. Any other business?
I just need to, I guess, schedule with John, or discuss with John when we want it to go to CERNC.
Yeah,
Just, my number.
we need to do a little bit of homework before we have that meeting.
So probably next week or something. Oh, we need to set a date for our next meeting too.
Yeah,
Here. That's the other business.
Also, if you guys wanna put a list together by yourselves and email it to me, I can generate a whole list, so at the next meeting, you'll have your list. Because you only named 2 things that you were going to ask them for, so.
Okay.
Yeah, because we said you were gonna discuss.
Oh, should we discuss that?
You
Yeah.
started
Going
to,
to.
you started to, but then it went sideways, so if you guys.
I guess I'm being
It's up
too
to you.
efficient. All right, let's discuss that, so,
You have partnership down in title work,
Yes, and do they have building
Yeah,
plans?
building plans.
building plans,
Yes,
should we ask them to, if they have, know of any concerns with the buildings, mechanical or structural?
yeah, we should certainly ask that, yes.
Do they have any surveys?
Yes,
It's good, yeah.
surveys and title work.
And Ronnie, when did the roofs on all those buildings, when did they redo those? Like, I know that the main building has a metal roof, it's in the gym. How recently was that, do you know?
Not very recently.
Okay. I just know, I mean, metal roofs look,
I was there.
Good for a long time,
but
so.
it's-
they should have a 50-year lifespan or something.
25 or 30 years anyway.
Okay,
Anyways,
yeah, I mean, they've still got, the only building that, the classroom wings are still shingle, right? And then the media center has a shingle roof, I know the asphalt shingle roof, but everything else is metal, right, those the big ones. And maybe that's something else we can add to them, is just some information on when the roof systems were replaced or whatever, just because that would help.
Age of roofs.
Yeah, the age of the roof.
electrical updates,
And we've discussed this before when we were touring, but there's no asbestos in the building that's of concern.
And other than the new construction, there's not been any electrical update that I'm aware of since I was there, and I started in '88, so it's been a while.
But I mean, when they redid the main building the last time, they got rid of any asbestos, right? So we don't,
Yes, they've done that, they've done the asbestos abatement.
which that's a big load off for
Yeah.
so they've done it for the entire site.
The only places maybe some, the overhangs and some of those walkways, but most of that is fairly encased unless somebody goes in there and starts beating on it.
Right. No, I might just be concerned if we take down the walkway, that covered walkway that goes up there, because that's,
Well, Rio and Cypress will take it all out.
yeah. Okay. So we need to set a date for the next meeting.
so for the list, it's partnership, title work, building plans, concerns with buildings, surveys, age of roofs, and electrical updates. Anything else that you want me to put on there for your list?
Want to meet in 2 weeks, is that?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. And then hopefully we'll give Sean and I time to get, up there and see. Agree.
I think we got conflicting reports. I told you last time that I had been told by a maintenance man that the chiller had been removed.
Right.
And Ronnie said it has not. It's the one.
Board.
The board.
The boilers, oh,
The
oh,
board,
so
the
see, there you
board
go,
was
there's two.
removed, and the individual I talked to said the parts had been ordered to repair the chiller.
Okay,
Oh, okay,
that's great.
So I don't know how we address that, but something about,
the boiler maybe?
yeah,
Yeah.
the boiler, and has anything else been removed? You've already discussed that somewhat with them, but I think it needs to be on our list, and I don't know how to write it, but anyway.
I'll figure it out.
What did the boiler serve?
The main building.
The main building.
Just the main building?
Building one, yeah.
It's right there next to the chiller.
And is it, heat and water, or water?
It's same thing, it's heats hot water and flows it through the unit, and that picks up your heat. All we do is throw different valves to,
No, I understand.
Yeah,
Throw the water.
it's heated water.
Great.
Karen, what I wrote down is to verify that the boiler's been removed and that the chiller parts have been ordered, or what is the status of the chiller parts?
Status of the mechanical. That is good news, because, I mean,
Yeah, that was a huge,
I mean, I think a chiller is harder to find than a boiler. I don't know how, if we really need.
How big was the boiler?
Is that, what are boilers rated in as far as, like BTUs or something? Or-
That I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not something that they use that often, right? I mean, only in the dead winter, which,
Unless we have extremely cold winters, which we don't have many.
right,
If you don't have anything that gets below 45, the building maintains heat very well.
yeah, it's,
And
they're
there
all
was
best.
many winters we never cranked it up.
And new boilers are highly efficient these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what date, are we looking at? 2 weeks would be our normal meeting day, Tuesday.
September 4th would,
Is that better for
for 2
everyone?
weeks from today, or the 3rd would be a Tuesday.
That is, I mean,
Fourth,
when, yeah, the 4th is fine for me, that's Wednesday.
What is the name?
what's
The
the
4th.
4th,
September 4th.
first Wednesday in September.
That is,
Sounds good.
that is 2 days after Labor Day, by the way, just for everyone. But that's not big deal.
Ironically, my new office will be in a restored old red brick high school.
Oh, really?
Tarpon Springs renovated Tarpon High School into a city hall,
That's awesome.
and the commission meets in the auditorium. It's connected. It's like the letter E, the building, the center part being the auditorium, which also is the city's performing arts center, which schedules a regular calendar of shows and performances. So my office is an old classroom.
Can we take,
Oh, that's terrific.
can we go on a field trip to Tarpon Springs?
Yeah,
When did they, make the change? How long ago, you know?
and no one I talked to knew, and I asked them how much it cost, nobody knew.
Yeah.
They said they had recently done a round of repairs and improvements for about $2 million. The building, it's a big building.
Wonderful.
That's what I think.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
yes, you did.
So,
I make it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Need a second? We need a second.
I second.
Yeah, second.